What's going on, beautiful people? Thank you for tuning in and watching. I appreciate your appreciation of my rants. And this is one of you guys. Sorry, man. I always forget names. My apologies. Names don't matter though, right? What matters is the content. And I think this will be interesting to listen to for a lot of people. You kept asking me, can you make a video on what happens after we die? As if I'm some kind of a fucking expert on death. I don't know, I'll give you that impression, bro, but let's talk about it anyway, right? And you told me several times, I'm still waiting for that video. Make a video on what happens after we die. Okay. So, where do I start here? Okay. Let's start with my own beliefs. Just my own beliefs on what happens after we die. I was raised a Muslim. So I was raised to believe that there's a heaven and there's a hell. And when I say I was raised as a Muslim, I'm not just throwing it lightly there. I was raised in a very conservative, still up to this date, very conservative Muslim household, Muslim family, Muslim country. So I'm not putting that out lightly. I'm saying that was me growing up. I was a Muslim boy, taught the ways of the religion down to the T. And I was taught, and I firmly believed about heaven and hell. Right? You're a kid. You believe anything that anybody tells you. So I firmly believed about heaven and hell. I firmly believed if you do bad things, if you have sex before marriage, and if you look at women in a weird way, in a sexual way, and if you touch girls who want you to touch them, right, who also want to touch you, then that's a sin unless you're married, and you go to hell for it. And if you drink alcohol, you'll go to... I believed in all of that, right? I believed in it 100%. Fucked me up for a long time, but I believed, in the whole sin thing. If you're sinful, when you go after, God will count how many sins you have and how many good things you've done. And if you've had more sins, you go to hell. You burn in eternal hell. And if you've been a good boy, you've been following authority and instructions, and you've been doing everything we have been telling you, the religion, you go to heaven. I believed in it, 100%. And then I got sick and tired of it, sometime around 18, 19. And I became an atheist. I said, fuck you, you ruined my life. I was so pissed off with religion at that point, all kinds of religion. I was like, fuck you, you ruined my life. I can't even talk to chicks because of you. I can't do nothing because of you. You fucked me up, Fuck it. Fuck religion, fuck it all. I'm an atheist. So I was an atheist for a while, and I hang around atheist friends as well, right? They sort of came to convince me of their ways, and I just needed a little nudge. Honestly, because I was just growing sick and tired of everything that I've learned. And yeah, so I had friends, they were atheists. I think they're still atheists. And they were making some good points. It made a lot of sense what they were saying. It seemed logical, reasonable reason. I just kind of became an atheist, right? I just stopped believing in God, stopped believing in heaven and hell. And I even fucking joke about demons and angels when somebody talks about them. And when somebody even mentions these things to me for a decent period of my life, in my mind, I'd be like, these guys are fucking retards. They're still believing in all that shit. Yeah, in my mind, that's how it would be going on, right? And I think a lot of atheists think that way too. When you start to mention heaven and hell and angels and demons, they probably in their heads, they might let you know right away, but in their heads, they think, what a fucking retard. I mean, do you really still believe in all that old shit? I mean, really? Just look at science and reason, man. Use science and reason. So that happened for a little while. And then I started to get into law of attraction stuff, right? Because I just wanted to improve my life. And I realized if I was to to stay an atheist, I would be too cynical about life. And I wanted to get some positivity in there. I wanted to improve my state of affairs. So I didn't, just got into law of attraction stuff, blah, blah, blah. Very superficial stuff, you become your thoughts and all of that. I got into it really hardcore. And then psychedelics happened. And then psychedelics happened. Psychedelics happened. Yeah, when that happened, I started to not believe, but know beyond a reasonable doubt that we go to a different realm. We go to a different dimension after we die. And it's the same dimension that we came here before, pre-birth. And I don't believe in it like I used to believe in it because someone else told me while growing up. I know it because I've been there. I've been there. I've been there. I've seen it. It's beautiful. It's magnificent. It is full of infinite love, infinite bliss, beings of light everywhere, a sense of familiarity. Just beautiful. People love you there. They love you. They love you and care for you. And it's the same place that we come to when we come here, sliding into a vagina. And when I went there, I felt like I can remember everything. Like, this is home. This is home. People were telling me there, welcome home. That's the first thing. They kept saying, welcome home, welcome home. So now that's my own subjective experience. And I made a video for the mushroom trip that took me to heaven. So just go look up Saeed, I went to heaven, and you will see 22 minutes of me talking about that trip. Not gonna talk about it here. But that's my own subjective experience, right? And this is someone who's got the extreme religious exposure, went completely atheist, entertained, had an open mind, sort of agnostic open mind, you know, maybe there's something else, let me entertain this law of attraction shit. And then somehow psychedelics happened and the rest is history. So I am personally no longer scared of death because I've been there, I've seen it, and it's beautiful. It's more beautiful than here. And I was told when I came back here, you come back and you focus on your mission here on Earth. Focus on what you have to. This is, since that trip, by the way, this is when I started creating 2 videos and really going hardcore on this channel and writing my book. And I'm creating like this next level course because I was told, go back to Earth. Tell everyone there, you gotta create heaven on Earth. This is our mission, our collective mission. And since then, I've been focused on my mission here. I've been focused on what I need to do on Earth here. Because I know that when I exit, when I'm out of here, when I'm dying, and DMT just gets flooded into my system and I go back, I know who's on the other end. And I know it's just beyond description. So, yeah, that's what I think happens after we die. I think it's my experience that I've been there, that I've seen it. Now, if you want to hear about other people's stories and perceptions of this, first of all, people who smoke DMT report very similar things to people who have a near-death experience, right? They go through the tunnel, they see the light, they talk to these benevolent entities. And the theory is that when you're about to die in a near-death accident or experience, your body starts to flood you with DMT. The DMT is simply the chemical molecule that takes you out of this dimension and into another dimension. This is physicality is an illusion, people. This is an illusion. God, you're a wonderful illusionist. Here's one for you. You're a wonderful illusionist, and you create a beautiful illusion, and you convinced us so much of it. You're good. You're fucking good. This is illusion. Physicality is an illusion, okay? DMT is a chemical. It simply takes your consciousness out of this dimension into a higher dimension, a higher frequency. Theory is what happens when you're about to die, having a near-death experience, is the DMT starts to flood your system and then it stops. But as it starts to flood your system, you start to have the same reports, the same experience as someone who's smoking DMT. essentially, you're going to the afterlife and back again. And so they report seeing similar things. Very interesting. Now, there is a book called Journeys of Souls by Dr. Michael Newton. Journeys of Souls, I believe. Okay? And you can find it on YouTube, audiobook, right? It's a long book, maybe 9 hours, maybe more. 2 parts, I believe. There's 2 parts to it. You can find it on YouTube. Or just go buy it, read it. I've listened to the audiobook 3 times because the book blew my mind away. It's called Journeys to Souls. And Dr. Michael Newton is a hypnotherapist. He specializes in hypnotizing people and what they call past life regressions, right? So you would hypnotize people, get them to remember certain aspects of themselves, their soul, so past lives and whatnot. And almost uniformly with all of them, right? With all, and there's like maybe over 30 cases in the book, right? Of different people that he took back to their past lives and took back. So what was interesting is all of these people had different past lives, but they all reported coming into this dimension from relatively the same place and leaving this dimension from the same. They reported similar things. So almost all of them, his patients, reported seeing a light, going through a tunnel, and being guided by a benevolent entity. And talking to their ancestors, which has happened to me in that trip that I was talking about earlier. Talking to your ancestors. They all report talking to their ancestors. They report being guided through the tunnel by a benevolent entity and seeing light. And these are all independent accounts. And then they report as soon as they get there, they report like they're home again. And they remember everything essentially. Because what happens as soon as you pop sliding into a vagina here, you're given amnesia. I mean, imagine you remembered everything, there would be no point to this life. The point is to come here, remember who you are, and carry out your mission in this current spawn. Imagine you remembered like thousands of your past lives. Imagine that shit. You wouldn't even be able to focus on this one. And yeah, so you're given amnesia, you slide into the vagina, you're given amnesia, but you go back after the benevolent entities take you through the tunnel. Usually it's one entity, it's a spirit, some sort of a spirit guide or something. And then you're back home. You remember everything and you're given a life review and everybody's very compassionate and very loving. And then you prepare to come back here again. So it's sort of like the main lobby. Now, listen to the book or read it. Journeys of Souls, Dr. Michael Newton. Unbelievable stuff, man. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And what makes it so unbelievable is because now this is from a hypnotherapist point of view, right? They're reporting the same things as someone who is smoking DMT, as someone who's tripping balls on mushrooms, as someone who had a near-death experience. They're all independent accounts. They don't even know each other, and they're all reporting the same things happen after death or near death or going to that realm, going to that dimension. So that's where I stand right now on what happens after we die. This is my stand. Faith is not such a big part of my life anymore. It used to be, when I needed to be faithful, when I needed to use this faith to do something, the faith, believing in myself and believing in my vision, blah, blah, blah. All these motivational things, which are very amazing, very nice. And you'll see a lot of it on my fitness channel. Faith, belief, right? I was in that faith, believing state of mind at the time. Now I'm past that. Now I'm in the knowing phase. I know. I don't need to believe. I don't need faith. They say you only need faith until you know. Now I know because I've experienced it. When you experience it, honor your experience. I have a chapter in my new upcoming book called, and I'm going to write it today, funnily enough, called Honor Your Experience. Meaning, look, I can tell you everything. You can read books. You can have conversations with religious nuts and fanatics. You can talk to atheists who tell you no. Reason use reason, logic. We can't prove afterlife. There's no proof to it. In fact, there's more likely no God, and nothing happens after. We just die. We shut off. Our brain shuts off. That's it. You can have all of that, or you can open your mind up and experience all of these things, and maybe open up your mind to the possibility of making use of psychedelic medicines to find out the truth for yourself. Because once you know it, I mean, like, that's it. You know it. You know it. You know it. You've been there. You've seen it. You were there. You went there and you came back. You know it. And you've seen the love. You felt the love. You felt the passion. The compassion and the love and the support. And then you come back here, and then the weirdest synchronicities start to happen, the weirdest dreams, the weirdest things, and you know, okay, now I'm in contact with the other side. At all times, I've always been in contact with the other side. I just didn't know. I wasn't open. I wasn't receptive. I had resistance. And now I'm open. So hopefully this sheds some light on this is just, again, my perspective of it, of what happens after we die. Now, I will come back and report to you something probably whole different when I do DMT, which is, because I haven't done DMT. What I've experienced was I was high as fuck on mushrooms, and I had an astral projection, out-of-body experience, and I went to the other side. But of course on DMT, it's a lot more. It's like Joe Rogan says, it's 50 or 100 times mushrooms times 100 plus aliens, right? So I will report something different then, because again, what the fuck? I don't know why somehow you think I'm some kind of an expert on death, that you asked me this. But hopefully I shared it with you. Hopefully it helps. It sheds some light. Again, at the end of the day, honor your experience. Be open-minded. Be skeptical. Be an atheist. Be an agnostic. Be a religious fanatic. Be a psychonaut. Be it all. And at the end of the day, honor your own experience. God bless you all. Everything's going to be all right. I was told to tell everybody everything's going to be all right, and everybody goes to heaven. So there you go. And as always, don't forget to subscribe, or you're going to sleep with the fishes.